Good morning, Clippers. We just wanted to take the time this morning to review a couple of key components of our student handbook and make sure that you know how to access our student handbook. We put the link in the Google Classroom, so if you can go to the class of Google Classroom, it's under classwork, and everyone should be doing this because we want everybody to access the student handbook. So you just click right there and open it up. Mine might look a little bit different than yours. Well, see there? Mine's a little bit different. But here's the student handbook. I wanted to show you a couple of ways to access this and how you maneuver it. You can just click right here on this arrow and it takes you to the table of contents, and then you can click on any of these areas and it takes you directly to that. There is a lot of information in the student handbook when we talk about attendance, grades, code of conduct, dress code, and a lot more within there, so make sure that you access that. I'm just going to click on one section. We'll go to conduct right here, and it brings up the County Code of Conduct for students. This morning, the whole administration team is going to talk about a few different things. So we have Mr. Green, who's going to be talking about vaping and bathrooms and things like that. Mr. Lisinski is going to be talking about latenesses and class cutting. Ms. Harmon's going to talk about dress code, and Mr. Jones is going to talk about attendance. Ms. Dunn was going to talk about grades, but she is not here today, so I'm going to do a few reminders about grades. Some of the most important things. There are two things that we really need to remember right now about grades. Term 1. If you got an E in a class that's a semester-long class and you got an E term 1, you have to get a passing grade semester 2 in order to pass that class. And then if you got a D in term 1, you have to get at least a D, but I know you can do better than that. Term 2, if you get a D and then an E, you fail that class. So make sure that you know what grade you need. Make sure that you are checking your grades. Our 9th graders have been working very hard to make sure they're checking their grades, but everybody, 10, 11, 12, please make sure that you are checking your grades. All right, at this point, we're going to go on to Mr. Green.
Good morning, everybody. Obviously, I'm Mr. Green. I'm one of the assistant principals here. I see everybody in the hallways during transition. Just want to remind you, first of all, about restrooms. Restrooms, obviously, by now you should understand that restrooms are locked during transition. They are being locked 10 minutes prior to transition from one class to another, and they will remain locked 10 minutes into the period. Again, we're following our 10-10 rule. Your teacher should be allowing you to leave for the restroom 10 minutes into the period, and they should be writing you a pass, an e-hall pass. So please keep that in mind. Vaping and tobacco. Did you know that in the state of Maryland, the law prohibits the sale of tobacco to anyone under the age of 21? And the last time I checked, I don't think there's anyone of the age, student-wise, here 21 or older, unless you are an active member in the military and have a military ID. Then you can be 18 and purchase tobacco. That includes vapes and whatnot. So nobody should have a vape or tobacco in school. The use of vapes and tobaccos, did you know, is prohibited on all county-wide properties. So it doesn't matter if it's during the school day or after the school day. Anytime on a school, Wicomico County public property, education property, it is prohibited regardless of age. That means regardless how old you are, you cannot use or tobacco on school grounds. The use of tobacco and vapes is prohibited in schools, and if you are caught, here are the consequences. The first time, your parent will be contacted, and you will spend a full day in ISI. You will also receive a teen tobacco program contract. This means that you're required to attend classes through the Wicomico County Health Department, and you and your parents will need to contact them to set up the dates of those classes. The second time you were caught with a vape or tobacco, you are suspended out of school for 1 day. The third time is 2 days. Please remember, You are not allowed to smoke or use tobacco or any other substance in school. Very important, listen to this one, tobacco and vapes. If you are caught with a tobacco or vape on a school bus, you will be removed from the bus for 30 days. 30 days. Also, if you go old school and you use matches or a lighter on the school bus, you may be removed from that bus for the entire year, for the rest of the school year. So please keep that in mind, because that's very dangerous. If you have any questions about anything that I've covered, feel free to ask an administrator anytime you see us in the hallways.
Good morning, guys. My name is Mr. Jones. I'm one of the Dean of Students at UMB. I'm here this morning to talk to you guys about attendance. You guys have 5 excuse notes that you can have for the entire year. So some of you have probably already used all 5 of your excused absence notes, which means every day that you are absent from here on out, you need to make sure you are staying for attendance recovery. Once you get per term, if you get more than 5 absences, then you need to recover your grades somehow. The only way to recover them is for you to stay at attendance recovery after school. In order to do that, you need to join our Google Classroom for Step Up. You need to select that you're staying for attendance recovery, and then you will stay from 2:45 to 4:30 working on missed assignments, any makeup work that you have to complete. The one thing that is good about attendance recovery is we do offer transportation. So if that is one of the reasons why you don't think you can stay, please come talk to me. We will get it all figured out. But you need to be here at school. You need to be on time to school. You only have those 5 notes for the entire year, so do not go through them as quickly as you think you can. And if you have already reached your 5, please stay for attendance recovery, because that's the only way you can make up your grades.
All right, and now to Miss Harmon to talk about the dress code.
All right, good morning, guys. I am here to talk about the favorite subject of it all, the dress code. So, I want to remind people just before I get into the dress code that our objective as a school, or the objective for Wicomico County, period, is for you guys to be college and career ready. So I'm saying that because, for example, if you get a job, which most of you do have a job, and you are required to wear a uniform or some type of outfit, that is what you are required to do. So you will enter into that job and you will wear that uniform. If they tell you that you cannot wear a certain shirt or you can't wear a certain pair of shoes, then you are obligated to make sure that you are following that policy. That is the same policy that we follow at our school. The expectation is not one that we have created. Ms. Harmon did not create the dress code. Dr. Savage did not create the dress code. This is a Wicomico County policy that we are mandated to make sure that you guys are following. So what does that mean? Of course, we're going to talk about hats and hoods, and also making sure that we're not wearing crop tops, that we're not showing our belly. That is the expectation, that when you come here, that you are not wearing your hats and hoods, that you are not wearing crop tops and bellies. And honestly, it's the wintertime, so I'm not really sure why we want bellies out anyway. But whatever the case may be, that is an expectation that when you come to school, that you are dressed appropriately. So that means that you are not allowed to wear hats and hoods, and you should not have your belly showing. If you happen to have, because we're in December now and we've been talking about this since the beginning of the school year, if you have already been addressed about a hat or a hood or about a crop top or belly, at this point, we are just going to send you into ISI. And if your parents cannot bring you a change of clothes, or if you refuse to take your hat and hood off, then that's where you will remain. Because at this point, we've already talked about it enough. So everybody should have the understanding that this is our expectation right now, that you should not be wearing that. For our ladies, if you guys are wearing crop tops at this point, we have wonderful shirts in the office. I call them Gucci Bennett shirts that you can have if your parents cannot come and bring you a shirt. But at this point, the expectation is for you guys to follow that policy. And I understand that a hat and a hood is not bothering anyone. I get that. When you're in class, you're learning, you're doing your work. So I understand it is probably considered very petty for us to address the hats and hoods. But again, that is not something that we created. That is a Wicomico County policy. So yes, we are going to keep reminding students that you should not have your hat and hood and that you should not be wearing a crop top and showing your belly. So again, just to reiterate that if you are seen with wearing a crop top or if you are seen wearing a hat and hood, considering we are in December, we're just going to address you. If you refuse to follow our instructions, then you will be placed in ISI until we can find something for you to wear or until you remove your hat and hood. Okay? All right. It's a great day to be a Clipper.
All right, and next up we have Mr. Lisinski, who's going to talk about latenesses and class cutting.
All right. Good morning, Clippers. Hopefully everybody's having a great day so far. I'm going to talk about latenesses and class cutting. I think you all know that the expectation is to be in class and on time. That bell that rings, that is the tardy bell. If you're in class before that, great job. If you're in class after that, that's considered a tardy. 7:45 is when the tardy bell rings for school. If you are not in class by 7:45, again, not in the building, but in class by 7:45, that is a tardy to school. You get 5 parent notes for the year to excuse your tardies to school, because we understand that sometimes things happen. But once you use those 5 parent notes, all right, then the tardies count no matter what. You do get referrals for tardies to school, and they can result in after-school detentions, lunch detentions, or it could even end up as an ISI. And that goes the same for tardies to class. Once you get a third tardy to class, it's an automatic lunch detention, and after that, you start getting referrals. Now, class cutting means that you're over 10 minutes late to class, or you don't go to class at all, or you go to class and then you leave for an extended period of time, or you leave and don't come back to class. Class cutting is an automatic referral, and you can be suspended out of school for class cutting. Anytime you cut class, it does create a disruption. It also creates a safety issue because we have to know where you are at all times. So again, those will result in referrals and can result in out-of-school suspensions. That's all I got for everybody. All right. Hopefully, again, have a great day. And like Ms. Harmon said, it is a great day to be a Clipper.
All right, thank you. My understanding is the link for the students got the same error that I got, so I'll be working with the tech department to try and figure that out, and we'll try that again at some point. But hopefully what we shared today were good reminders, and if you have questions, you can always see any of us in the hallway. We appreciate you taking time out. Again, we know it's right before break, but we want to have a strong start when we get back from break and a great finish. I hope you enjoy the rest of our 12 days of winter break and that you have a great winter break. Thank you. And it is a great day to be a Clipper, and I love J&B.